Welcome, everybody. My name is Adam Kowalczyk, and I am back again to talk about stress management techniques, something that we definitely need. Kids need it, teachers need it. We all get stressed from time to time. So this video is going to be just some things that we can do in the classroom, some activities that we can do. This will be part one of a two-part video. So this PowerPoint is going to be broken up in half. That way I'm not going to stress you out having to listen to 20 minutes at one time. So we're going to just look at some of those. We're going to dive right in and just talk a little bit about some of these stress management techniques. So the first thing, what do we want to learn? Well, obviously we want to look at some stress management techniques. What are some things that you can do in the classroom? How can you incorporate some of those techniques? And of course, we want to know what are the positive benefits for the students. We're always wanting to know how can we best impact the students? How can we reduce the stress? And I think one thing that's very important, that when we reduce what is on the students, it will end up positively helping the teachers. Because when we don't have that, the chaos or maybe some of those issues that we know we have, or lessen some of those things, it takes a little bit off of our plate and allows us to kind of just make sure that we're still really getting in the groove with our lesson plans and our activities, things that we're doing, without being overloaded with some of that other stuff. So a list of activities. We're going to look at yoga and meditation. We're going to talk about some brain breaks and maybe some brain break ideas. Outdoor classes, I'm a fan. Flexible scheduling, which I think is super important. Journaling, as well as maybe reducing assignments or really focusing on skill-based learning and how that can kind of impact the students. We're going to talk about the first few in this video, and then we're going to dive more into the flexible scheduling and the skill-based learning because that's kind of getting a little bit more to the academic side in part two of this video. So first is yoga. What a simple, easy classroom activity. Obviously, it's focused on stress management. You can incorporate flexibility and breathing exercises with that. But I'm a huge fan of yoga. It's simple. It does not require a lot of setup. It doesn't really require any equipment. If you have yoga mats, that's fantastic. But one thing I found is we really don't always have that equipment. So these are things that are very simple that you could set this up real quick. If you had a sub, the sub could go through this pretty easily. There's tons of videos, particularly on YouTube, and there's other resources as well where you can go through and just click play. And I even shared in the mental and emotional health resources video, you'll see if you watch that video that I shared a resource that has some yoga and some other things in there as well. So this is just a great thing. Kids can lead the activity. Sometimes I'll turn it into an academic kind of an assignment or an activity where maybe they have to research 3 yoga poses. If you really wanted to get academic, you could talk about what are some of the muscles that you're stretching when doing these poses, or you could just do it simply for stress management, and this is just something the kids could do on their own, and so we're just going to practice it here in class. The meditation it's kind of along the same lines as yoga, where I think that if you have something that you need a quick setup, very little equipment or no equipment, if there's a sub, if you know that you're going to be out, this is something that the kids really seem to enjoy for me, probably because it's easy and there's no notes and there's no work, but they really get a lot out of it. And I think that's what's most important is it can't always be about getting a worksheet filled out or passing a test, but sometimes we just need to practice that skill and think as I'm walking out the door, like, man, I feel really good, and that was just nice and relaxing. I wish we could do that more. And then, of course, there's recordings and videos. I used to do a teacher-led activity, and I found that kids kind of thought it was a little cheesy, and it was hard to separate me from maybe somebody that's in a video. So I started using videos, and I don't do it anymore. But if you want to do the teacher guided, I think that's great. I definitely encourage you to try it. And if it doesn't work, then you can always go to the videos as well. Or maybe it works out really great and the kids are really receptive to that. That's great as well. You can also pair this to an assignment. So if you want to make it a little bit more academic, if you need to get that grade in, then that is definitely something that you could do. But it's completely up to you. It's so easy to change. And so this is another one that I really like. And again, the stress management and the stress reduction, these techniques, they're so easy to use, and I don't think they're utilized enough. So this is just another good, easy one. And the last one for this video are brain breaks. I think if we look at activities, so the yoga and the meditation, they're very stress management, stress reduction, getting your breathing under control, controlling your heart rate, and those are fantastic and wonderful. Brain breaks, I think it's something that you can do that won't really have like an academic thing. For example, if we're going through and we're reading something in the textbook, or we're doing some journaling, sometimes it's nice to just get out of your seat and just let's put the pencil down, or let's close that computer for a second. Especially with the way technology is, the kids are on computers and cell phones all day long. So sometimes it's nice to just put that up and we're just going to go for a walk. And we might walk outside real quick. We might just walk out in the hall. We might just get out of our seat and walk in place. Obviously, that depends on a lot of different factors. Some days, if we have more time, we'll go walk outside and we'll just get some fresh air and some sunlight on our skin. It just feels amazing. Sometimes it's like, well, we've got a lot to get done, and we're coming up on a break, and we really don't have a lot of downtime. So we might just walk in place for 30 seconds. And it's so easy to do. But when you do that and you give the kids a break and you a break, it allows them to just recharge. And sometimes we just need that. Let me just step away from the computer. I think even as adults, we get into that all the time where we think, man, I just need to step away and take a break. And when you come back to it, sometimes you just feel refreshed. So brain breaks are a great thing. There's so many that you can do. I even made a brain break video that will be on this YouTube playlist as well. So things that you can do, and definitely go and check that video out. Try to include movement, something fun. I'm a huge fan of the music. The kids love just take a break. I quit letting them choose the music. They couldn't ever agree on a song. So I said, you either like what I play or you don't. But sometimes we'll play music, and when the music's going, you can move around, you can talk, you can socialize. And when the music stops, you stop. And so it's a good cue, something easy to do. You just put on a song, they might sing it. We did a karaoke one time, and that really wasn't even my goal, but I put on some music that I guess the kids really liked, and they started singing. And before I knew it, most of the class was chimed in, and it was loud and it was fun. And then I let the whole song play. I think it took about 4 minutes, but it just was nice to just take that break and just recharge. And then we paused the music at the end, and I said, all right, well, let's shake it out. We're going to dive right back into this. And it took 10 or 15 seconds for them to calm down. But then once we got back in the notes, they, really got quiet, and they refocused. So it was just a nice change of pace. Obviously, that's going to depend on your class. So, adjust it as needed for your classroom and your students, but just simple things that you can do to just give that break. So we will continue this in part 2, where we dive into a little bit more of the academic setting, and then hopefully you all get something that you can take away, incorporate it into your classroom, and help your students. So take care, everybody. Thank you very much.